Dallas should not exist here. The ground cracks and buckles every season. There is no natural water source, and tornadoes tear past as summer temperatures soar above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet the city stands. It is hotter than its own suburbs, completely dependent on water, piped from distant reservoirs, and built on unstable blackland prairie clay that shifts constantly. These are the forces hidden beneath the headlines. What happens when you build a metropolis where the environment seems designed to keep cities out? The first insane geography fact will change how you see every building in Dallas. Under Dallas, the ground is always moving. The city sits atop the Blackland Prairie, a stretch of vertisol clay that expands and contracts as the seasons change. When rain soaks the soil, the ground swells with enough force to crack concrete and twist steel. In dry spells, it shrinks back, pulling apart foundations and leaving deep fissures that can swallow a boot. Engineers call it highly expansive clay, and in Dallas, it can change its volume by up to 25% from one year to the next. Every slab, every road, every high-rise must be built to fight this invisible pressure. Foundation repairs are a booming business here, with some homeowners facing five-figure bills after a single season of shifting ground. But it is not just the soil underfoot that keeps Dallas on edge. Unlike most major cities, Dallas has no river or natural lake to draw from. Every drop that flows from a tap is piped in from distant reservoirs. Ray Hubbard, Louisville, Lavon, linked by a network of pipelines stretching over 100 miles. The entire city depends on this engineered lifeline. In drought years, reservoir levels can drop by 20 feet, and officials watch every inch fall with growing anxiety. A single break or interruption in the supply chain could leave more than 1 million people scrambling for water. For Dallas, basic stability and hydration are battles fought every day, engineered against odds that never rest. Dallas sits squarely in the crosshairs of Tornado Alley, where the sky can turn violent with little warning. Each spring and fall, the National Weather Service tracks supercell storms as they sweep across the prairie, dropping tornadoes that carve unpredictable paths through neighborhoods and business districts. In May 2019, an EF3 tornado touched down in North Dallas and tore a 13-mile scar through the city, shattering windows and ripping roofs from homes in a matter of minutes. Winds reached up to 140 miles per hour, flattening schools and scattering debris across major highways. More than 800 buildings were damaged before the storm finally lifted, leaving behind a trail of twisted metal and splintered trees. Meteorologists describe Dallas as a city that must always be ready. On average, Dallas County sees 5 to 10 tornadoes every year, with the strongest storms following the shallow valleys and open prairies that funnel wind straight into the urban core. But tornadoes are not the only threat. The weather in Dallas is a game of extremes, swinging from brutal heat to sudden cold. The city's all-time high, set in June 1980, reached a blistering 113 degrees Fahrenheit. Summer days regularly push past 100 degrees Fahrenheit, baking the concrete and straining the power grid. Then, with little warning, winter can bring ice storms and deep freezes. In February 2021, temperatures plunged to zero, freezing pipes and leaving hundreds of thousands without heat or water. Pipes designed for triple-digit summers burst under the pressure of Arctic air, and emergency boil notices spread across the city. The National Weather Service keeps logs of these wild swings, records that chart a city living under constant atmospheric roulette, never knowing if the next season will bring fire, ice, or something in between. Downtown Dallas doesn't just feel hotter, it is. Satellite readings from NASA and researchers at Southern Methodist University have measured a staggering difference. The city core can run 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit, warmer than the suburbs on a typical summer afternoon. This is not just a matter of perception or a few hot blocks. It is a city-sized furnace built from concrete, asphalt, and glass. The heat gets trapped, radiating back into the air long after the sun goes down. The numbers are hard to ignore. On a July day when the suburbs might register 92 degrees, downtown Dallas often bakes at 105 degrees. The reason is simple but relentless. Trees and grass have given way to endless pavement and rooftops. The city's tree canopy is among the lowest of any major United States metro, especially in southern neighborhoods. Without shade to break up the glare, Surfaces soak up sunlight and hold it tight. The consequences ripple through daily life. Emergency rooms brace for heat stroke cases, and residents face soaring power bills just to stay cool. Studies show that heat-related deaths in Dallas spike by 20% during intense heat waves, with the poorest neighborhoods hit hardest. Urban climate researchers warn that the heat island is not just uncomfortable, it is dangerous, and it is growing. For Dallas, every new parking lot and high-rise adds fuel to a fire that never quite goes out. Dallas doesn't just fill the map, it stretches it. In just 70 years, the city's footprint has exploded across the prairie, merging with Fort Worth and dozens of suburbs into a single, sprawling mega-region. The numbers defy belief. In 1950, Dallas covered less than a quarter of its current metro area. By 2020, the population had quadrupled, and the urbanized zone now blankets over 7,000 square miles, one of the largest continuous metro footprints in the United States. This kind of growth isn't just wide, it's unrelenting. New subdivisions leapfrog highways, office parks rise on what used to be farmland, and the city's edge keeps crawling outward, swallowing prairie and pasture. The North Central Texas Council of Governments tracks this expansion year by year, mapping how neighborhoods and shopping centers fill in every gap between Dallas and Fort Worth. But with every new mile of road and pipeline, the cost of maintaining the city's infrastructure balloons. Water must travel farther, repairs stretch across 2 counties, and the challenge of managing everything, from traffic to emergency response, grows with each added square mile. For planners, the scale is both a marvel and a warning. Dallas's size magnifies every hazard, turning local problems into regional threats, and making the stakes of growth impossible to ignore. Dealey Plaza sits at the heart of Dallas, a crossroads where geography and history collide. The plaza's triple underpass, the grassy knoll, and the sharp turns of Elm and Houston streets shaped the path of the presidential motorcade on November 22, 1963. Every angle, every elevation, the layout itself became a silent witness. Curators at the 6th Floor Museum have pored over maps and photographs, tracing how the plaza's contours influenced not only the event, but the investigation that followed. The geography of this small patch of land is now etched into the collective memory, a place where the past feels close enough to touch. Yet beneath the pavement and monuments, time stretches much deeper. Downtown Dallas is built on the remnants of an ancient seabed. The Austin Chalk, a layer of pale limestone formed nearly 90 million years ago, lies just below the city's foundations. During tunnel excavations and deep drilling, paleontologists from the Perot Museum have recovered marine fossils, oysters, shells, and the occasional fragment of an ammonite. That evidence shows this ground was once the floor of a vast, shallow sea. The city that witnessed a turning point in modern history rests atop a vanished world, layers of memory stacked one atop another. In Dallas, every step is a crossing between eras, the echoes of a single day, and the silent testimony of echoes. Rainfall can turn Dallas streets into rivers in a matter of minutes. Despite sitting more than 200 miles from the Gulf, the city faces a flash flood risk that rivals coastal towns. The reason is a dangerous combination of low permeability clay soils and a cityscape paved edge to edge. When a storm hits, water cannot soak into the ground. Instead, it races across parking lots and highways, funneling into creeks and storm drains, already straining under the load. In May 2015, the Trinity River surged with such force that it overtopped levees built to protect downtown and West Dallas. The crest shot far above the expected high water mark, leaving neighborhoods scrambling as water rose faster than anyone predicted. Emergency managers reported the river jumping its banks in less than an hour, sending a wall of water over defenses meant to withstand the worst-case scenario. Engineers later traced the disaster to the city's relentless paving. Runoff from 1 square mile of concrete can send tens of millions of gallons downstream in a single hour. A Dallas County floodplain manager described it as a city living on borrowed time. With every new development, the risk climbs higher. In Dallas, floodwaters do not need days to gather strength. They need only a sudden downpour and nowhere to go. Dallas still defies its geography, growing faster than almost any major United States city. Despite droughts, floods, and relentless heat. As climate extremes intensify, every choice here tests the limits of human adaptation. In Dallas, survival isn't history, it's the next challenge. What would you risk to build your city?